Hi everybody, hope you're having a great day and welcome to another faith-free family moment. Sometimes I assume you know who I am, but if you're just kind of tuning this in because somebody pointed you away, I'm Pastor Matt at Faith Evangelical Free Church in Stanley, and I have the privilege to shepherd an incredible body of people. And so welcome if that's you, if you're not part of the faith-free family and you're joining us, I'm glad you're here. I mentioned and introduced last week these connection groups will be starting on Sunday morning, and we're going to be starting them this next Sunday. And if you haven't signed up, I hope you will. It's not too late at all to do so. You can sign up Sunday and just jump in a group. You'll see the groups and locations on the sign-up sheets. We hope that you'll step into these groups, and they have as core values of the groups praying together, fellowship, and then studying and growing together. And the actual topics that each connection group will be talking about will connect with the sermon series we're going through or have gone through. And so we strongly encourage you to be a part of that. You know what? I'm kind of the conviction that if God cares enough to speak to us corporately, we should care enough to process it and to think about how it applies to our life. These connection groups are going to help you connect with God, with others, and connect with what God is saying to us, thus the name. And so we really hope that you'll avail yourself. And again, it's for everybody in the family. For children, they're going to have an opportunity to meet together. Our middle school, high school groups will be meeting together, and then there'll be multiple adult groups as well. And so once again, I invite you to be a part of that, this exciting step in our ministry. We're in James. We talked last week that works are indispensable to spiritual progress, as we looked at verse 14 to 17. And I want to talk today about the importance that works are indispensable to verify faith. And I get this out of James chapter 2, verse 18 through 20, are the verses I want to look at. Follow along. James 2, 18. But someone may well say, you have faith, and I have works. Show me your faith without the works, and I will show you my faith by my works. You believe that God is one. You do well. The demons also believe and shudder. But are you willing to recognize, you foolish fellow, that faith without works is useless? He uses that word a lot, doesn't he? Use and useless and useful. James does, that's for sure, because works are meant to be useful. They're meant to be a part of our walk with Christ. Now, James in verse 18, he says, but someone may well say, you have faith and I have works. Show me your faith without works. And then he says, I will show you my faith by my works. Notice that word show is used twice. James is in effect saying, you claim to have faith, and I can prove the quality and existence of my faith by works. But I defy you to prove the quality and existence of your faith without works. Because genuine faith produces works. That word show is the idea of demonstrate. In other words, it's a faith that's demonstrative. That's a genuine faith. A faith that doesn't demonstrate good works or demonstrate anything that's useful, spiritually speaking, is a dead faith. That's what James is saying. He goes into verse 19. This is a really interesting verse. He says, you believe that God. Let's stop there. There's an intellectual belief which cannot save. You believe that God is different than you trust God. Now, growing up, I believed there was a God. I believed in a deity out there. I intellectually could look around at creation and say, in a sense, duh. There's no way that this could have evolved. I mean, the complexities, even at a young age, I knew there was a God who created this, even in my young abilities, and that's never changed. But I wasn't saved. There was an intellectual assent to the evidence around me. But I didn't trust God. So two different things. And we know that because, as he goes on to say, you believe that God is one, and you do well to do that. I mean, it's good. You need to believe God. You need to understand the facts and believe them. You do well to do that. He says, but he's going to shock his readers by saying the demons also believe. And they not only believe, there's a reaction they have based upon their belief. They shudder. They tremble. There's a sense of fear that accompanies what they believe, what they know. Isn't that interesting? The demonic realm has it better figured out than a lot of people. And there's a couple things that would be helpful for us to understand. It may surprise you what demons believe. They believe in the existence of God. Pretty good. They believe in the deity of Christ based on Mark 3:12. I just encourage you to look this up. They believe in a place of punishment, Luke 8:31. And it seems implied from Mark 5:1 through 13 that they believe Christ is judge. And obviously the text here says a shudder would maybe give more credence to that thought. You see, even demons' belief brings a response. They tremble. It's not a saving faith at all. But James is showing there is a response to what they do know. But the demon's belief produces, obviously, no good works. Because it's a mental assent to the facts, not a willful trust. We know the demonic realm rebelled. They didn't trust God. They rebelled against God. And James' point is, faith and works have everything to do with each other. Our works verify the reality of our faith. And without such a visible verification, our faith appears to have no usefulness. Again, that key concept again, usefulness. Now, I don't know about you, many believers fail to make significant contributions to the world around them. Theirs is a useless faith. I don't know if you, but you ever have a garage or you got a shed, maybe your basement, you got stuff laying all the way around. I mean, this stuff spewed all over. And stuff that's just accumulated. It's stuff. Such items, they no longer really make any contribution to your life, other than they get in the way and you trip over them. And perhaps the only contribution they would make, and maybe I encourage you to do this, have a thrift sale, at least get something for them. Thrift sales always chuckle where you're going to buy someone else's junk, and which will probably wind up on your garage shelf, but that's a different discussion. So they don't, stuff we have laying around that we accumulate, they make no contribution to our lives. They offer no benefit to anyone. All they do is take up space. Well, by faith, if it hasn't been joined to good works, it's useless. It's just out there getting in the way, in a sense. James is telling us works are not only beneficial, but they're indispensable. Because without them, our Christianity becomes useless. He says in verse 20, but are you willing to recognize, you foolish fellow, that faith without works is useless? Willing. Look at that verse 20. Are you willing? In other words, a dynamic faith involves your will. Are you willing? Your will's involved in this. And that's a dynamic faith that involves the will. Dead faith only seems to involve the intellect, the emotions. But an active faith, a dynamic faith, involves the will. The will steps in and says, I will act upon this truth. I believe so deeply in these truths. I believe so deeply Jesus saved me and he loves me completely that I willfully want to live that out. I willfully want to welcome you in my home. I willfully want to demonstrate and show my faith, that it is a dynamic faith, that I have been saved. And so James continues to make this connection for us. He doesn't let us off the hook of having a comfortable Christianity that says, I'm saved, I'm going to heaven, and now I'm going to go my own way. He doesn't let us off the hook. He wants us to see that faith without works is dead, and his word he keeps using, it's useless. And so I hope that you're living out your faith. I hope that you're demonstrative in the way you live your life. By doing good works, by loving people and caring for them in practical ways. And there's so many ways to care for people. Maybe it's a card, maybe it's a meal, maybe it's stopping to help somebody with a flat tire or helping somebody in need. There's so many different practical ways to help people and to demonstrate your faith. I hope you're doing that, because I know God will be glorified if you do. And I hope you have an incredible day, everybody. Thanks for joining us. God bless.